And we are live for another installment of ENTP Life's live edition. The way that this typically works is that every week I put out a live video on Sundays. Not a live video, but I put out my produced video on Sundays. That sets the tone for the topic of the week. It reflects on all my social media channels. On Instagram, I'll post, leading up to that post itself. And then I try to support with some additional information, some texture, some photos, that sort of thing. And on YouTube, I have a fully produced video. And that topic could be real estate investing, could be investing internationally, it could be my project that's going on in Italy, aviation, and my home healthcare business, or any other project that I'm taking on that I feel is cool and interesting to the public. My focus here on the channel is really to give people some sort of guidance or guidelines on how they can live a life that's similar to mine. I'm a serial entrepreneur who has done, I would say, fairly well for myself. And, you know, in this journey, I've been able to achieve what would be considered early retirement through passive income and business revenue, but I'm still active. I haven't given it up yet. But if I wanted to, I could stop and really live off of what I've produced. And I want to show people that it's not that difficult to get to that retired lifestyle, especially if you're considering living abroad. You could do so in a lot of countries for as little as $1,000 a month for an individual, and between $2,000 and $2,500 a month if you have like a family of four. So I try to really encourage people that the idea of passive income, early retirement, the idea of becoming wealthy, and the idea that you can actually manifest what you want in your life just by taking certain steps or even repeating what other people have done to be successful, or whatever success actually is in your opinion, and really go out there and live the life of their dreams, whatever that dream may be. So for me, my dream is to live completely a global lifestyle on my terms, doing the things that I want to do. I want to circumnavigate the planet twice, once by air and once solo by boat, both solo by air, solo uh, by sea, by sail. So that's one of my life goals. I also plan on visiting every country on this planet, eating food, interacting with the people, that sort of thing, and having time, especially in the latter half of my life, to enjoy my family, enjoy my children, teach them as much as I can until I, dissipate into the universe and move on to whatever is next or whatever my next journey will be. So that's what this channel is about. And if that's something that interests you, before we get started, just make sure you hit the like button. If you're watching live, definitely hit that like button as well, and try to share this with whoever you can, because the more activity that we actually have here on YouTube, the more they kind of feed my live stream out to other people who may be interested in this topic. So if you want to really get a vibrant conversation going, do whatever you can to spur activity, ask questions, that sort of thing, so that more people get cued and will be here to watch this. I'm only going live for 30 minutes today. I'm going to try to have a hard stop. I am on this workout kick and I've had a long day. I'm tired. So I want to get home, do my Spanish lesson, work out, and try to make it to bed at a reasonable hour today. So I'm going to get straight to the point. Usually I do this on StreamYard. And today I kind of am taking the advice of a previous comment to kind of see how things are actually formatted when you're doing a live directly on YouTube. I'm testing to see if there's any differences in how many people get the push, if StreamYard is throttled in a way. So this is just an experiment. So I'm not able to pull people's comments directly onto the post. And another thing, I'm using just my webcam, so the quality is a little sketchy compared to what the quality normally is. Just me testing, changing out equipment, and seeing if there's any changes in how the content is received and pushed by YouTube. So bear with me in my little experiment. So background. I am looking to accumulate at least 12 international properties. And by international, I mean both in the United States and abroad. I have way more than 12 properties in the US, but I want to have 12 properties that are like my vacation homes or my temporary residence while I'm in that particular country. And as stupid as it may sound, I would like to at least in 1 year spend every month in a year in one of my different properties. And when I'm not there, I could lease it out on Airbnb and other short-term rental sites. But that's just something that I want to do. I think the number 12 for the 12 months in the year makes sense. I may certainly get way more than 12 properties internationally. I own two in Italy currently, and I'm renovating them now. And if you haven't seen my series already on buying a Euro property or buying these cheap properties that are featured in Italy, you could definitely check that out. It's a really fascinating series. A lot of people are interested in that. I went out to Italy looking for the €1 home. They were pretty beat up, and I decided to kind of pay up for what are considered premium listings, but I only paid $5,000 and $12,000 for those premium listings. I think it's a pretty cool score. If you want to see those properties, you can check out one of my other videos wherever they're showing up, and see if it's the right fit for you. But that really kind of set more of this love for my real estate investing in general, and kind of seeing what's available in other countries. Because I was totally shocked that you could buy a house, a 3-story, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Now it's 2-bath. I added a bathroom. 2-bedroom, 1-bath at the time. 3-story, 1,000-square-foot townhouse overlooking the mountains in a town that has a population of more than 10,000 people for only 12,000 euros. I thought that was amazing. So that really got me kind of going to see where else I could find cheap properties in cool places, or places that people may want to visit. And that takes me to Brazil. So I went to Brazil for the first time about 2 years ago, January of 2019. Fell in love with the place. Beautiful people, beautiful culture, a lot of people, developed country, big cities. Sao Paulo has 23 million people. Rio de Janeiro, the city has less, but it's still well over 5 million, I believe, living in Rio. And I was just like, this is a cool place to be, and started to think about what would it be like to get another property there, and where would I get the property. So far, I've only been to Sao Paulo and Rio. I haven't been to any of the other cities within Brazil, so I really don't know. So my scope and focus is only that so far. So as I get to travel more within that massive country, I'll be able to see if there's another place that is a better fit for me. So the series started with me going to Sao Paulo, checking that out, hanging out with Yusuf Watif. Shout out to Yusuf. And then I went to Rio de Janeiro, like the capital, where Copacabana is. I checked out some properties, some of the typical stuff that everybody covers. But then I wanted to kind of cover what others may not be talking about, like the neighborhoods just right outside of Copacabana, Barra da Tijuca, and Ilha da Gigoia. Sometimes it's difficult to get it out. And Santa Teresa. So I want to show people that there's alternative places to live that provide a pretty good lifestyle, cheaper than what you could get in the Copacabana region. And we're talking about rents that can get down to $250 if you're looking for a studio apartment on Ilha da Gigoia, and maybe an average rental price of $400 to $600 a month when you start looking at Barra da Tijuca and some of the sections of Ipanema. A little more for LeBlanc, but you could get at that price point. And that really leads to the next point, which is in most of South America, a person could live on $1,000 a month. I did a video covering that. It's possible in Medellin, Colombia. It's possible on the coastline or smaller towns in Colombia, possible in Peru, possible in Mexico. And it's also possible in Brazil, especially if you're living kind of a middle of the road life. Fairly safe neighborhoods, not eating out and living like a tourist or like a gringo, but you can eat out a few times. You can mostly cook from home, pay your internet, electricity, cover your basic utilities, and live a bit on $1,000 a month. And I kind of show how that's possible, especially when you look at the low rent cost by comparison to the U.S. It's very hard to live on 1,000 a month. So after Rio, I went to Rio de Janeiro, the capital. I went to a town or a smaller city by the name of Cabo Frio. And Cabo Frio is about 2 hours northeast of Rio de Janeiro and Copacabana. And it's another coastal town, beautiful beaches, beautiful people again. But this is like a proper town. There's a college or a university in this neighborhood. People are working. There's new real estate development. It's still expanding. And nice little beach town that people from Rio go to for vacation. So it's kind of like driving down to, I don't know, the Hamptons, or going out to Martha's Vineyard if you're in the Northeast, or if you're down here in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, it's like going down to the Florida Keys, or maybe driving across the peninsula and going to Naples or Fort Myers or something like that. It's where people who are from that city will get away to on the weekends. And just a little bit further is another tourist town called Buzios, which is a little more uppity and I guess high net worth sort of place. So the average Brazilian who's in Rio de Janeiro trying to get away for a weekend might choose to go to Cabo Frio, or maybe to Ilha Grande, which is in the other direction, to get away from the hustle and bustle of the main city and see some beaches, waterfalls, and things that are at a different pace, rather than just hanging out in Rio de Janeiro. It's typical. It's like, going to wherever your local getaway is. And so the same exists there. So with that being said, I'm just moving to turn on the light. So with that being said, I toured Cabo Frio. I made some reservations with Patricia, who was a real estate agent referred to me by an agent that was referred to me by Yusuf. So what ends up happening is I check out, first of all, you see my Airbnb, because I want to compare like what kind of value you get for an Airbnb. I was paying about $60 a night for mine, for a 3-bedroom house, 2 or 3 blocks from the beach. So I wanted to see what life would be like there. And it was just outside of the main town. And then I checked out some apartments, because one of the things I was exploring is, should I just do a rent to rent strategy to test the waters, rather than buy a property there and learn the hard way, because you're mostly going to have to buy in cash, that sort of thing. I thought maybe I could just rent a property and then re-rent it on Airbnb when I'm not there, and then stay there when I am. So I checked out a few apartments, and I highlighted the ones that I felt were worth sharing. I checked out another house that was for sale, and then I checked out a developmental project, which is the most attractive to me, but also kind of doesn't make the most sense. Um, it's going to be tying up, about $200,000, a little less than 200,000. Um, really not making much of a profit point, really not being able to make much money on the rental. So it's kind of one of those passion projects that I want to do, but I can't quite justify the spend, because I could spend the same amount of money in the States, right? I could spend $200,000 on a 3 family in some neighborhoods, and make $3,000 a month. And definitely won't make that on my $2,000 investment in Brazil. I can make $3,000 a month on the same cash and live a pretty decent life in all of South America on 3,000 a month. So why would I spend that same amount on just one project? So that's the debate that I'm in, but I'm thinking of a few clever ways of putting together that deal. But it's to redevelop a property, beachfront, awesome beach, great for surfing, great for kite surfing as well. Good wind coming off the water, really white sand, crystal blue water. Nice, 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 nice. And I don't think I did it quite justice in the video, because I was kind of rushing, going between one spot to the next. And it was also my first time using my drone and getting, not first time, but second time using my drone and trying to get familiar with what sort of shots I should take. So I don't think I captured the look and feel of this place. But it's, believe me, it's really nice. It's really gorgeous. And then when I went to the main portion of town, it had just rained, so the water quality wasn't as good as it normally is. But you could check out, just like in the screenshot of this video, that's Cabo Frio by day on a clear day. So you could see what the water quality is like there and what life is like there. Um, so at this point, I mean, that's just a background on what I did. Just one more thing. Apartment, nice apartments, livable, doorman building, pool, etc. 2 bedroom, 2 bath was renting for about 2,000 reais a month, and that's approximately $400. And you're not finding an equivalent apartment in a town like that in the US at $400 a month. And that gives you a little bit of idea of what cost of living is going to be like, because that's a nicer building. 400, super cheap in my opinion. Um, you could be in there as a couple. You could have one bedroom for yourself, a bedroom for guests, or a home office if you're working from home. If you're a digital nomad or a freelance worker that isn't tied to a desk, I think it would be fantastic to earn in US dollars while living in a town like that for 3 months, 6 months out of the year. Would highly recommend it. I didn't get to capture the cost of food and like the little details of living, but I do know that within that $1,000 budget, if you knocked off 400 for your housing expense, you'll probably knock off the rest of utilities like cell phone, electricity, that sort of thing, for less than another 100. And then you have $500 of discretionary spending for food and just moving around a bit. And food is cheap in Brazil. You could eat out meals from $2 to $7, depending on how far you go with the meal. But traditional Brazilian food will be cheaper. If you cook food at home, produce is cheap. You could do quite well just doing groceries at $40 a week, and that should cover you. And then it's just a matter of how you want to live. If you wanted to live a lot better and a lot more comfortable, you might want to kick that budget up to 1,500, but totally doable on $1,000. And I want to show people who are simpler in what they need, that they could do it. So for me, for example, I've been looking to get my kite surfing certification, and that's something that I look at. It's like, well, if I was just hanging out on this beach for 3 months, fishing and surfing, really, how much am I going to spend? And I don't really live like a luxurious lifestyle. I think my biggest expenses are my airplane, which that sounds pretty crazy, but my aircraft is my biggest expense, outside of like housing and day to day living. But as far as, I don't accumulate like luxury items. I'm not a big shopper. I buy things for my channel, for my business. Um, but I'm not someone who has to stay in a hotel that's running me $500 a night or $1,000 a night. That never made sense to me. So I'm pretty conservative with how I spend, unless it's making me money. So I think for those of you who are kind of on the channel looking for a method to go the passive route, like retire early and live off of passive income, and you're humble and you live a simple life and you like cultural diversity, I recommend Cabo Frio. Obviously, I recommend all of Brazil, but Cabo Frio can be a place for you, especially if you like a slower pace and you like the coast. Um, Going on over to questions. Um, Norrico, hi from Norrico in Miami. Stay safe. Best wishes. What's up, man? Um, I'm here, in Fort Lauderdale. So if you wanted to kind of link up, I'm actually flying up to Daytona Beach this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, to check out some real estate. So any aviation heads out there that want to head out, I'm looking for company. Jessica Litton, hi, what's going on, Jess? How much are you going to spend in total for the Brazil properties? I really don't know. I may not even do a deal in Brazil just yet. If I was going to spend on the deal that I like in Cabo, in Cabo Frio. That's looking like it'll cost me between 160 and 180 to complete, between the land acquisition and the construction. Construction's really cheap. Um, and I already got estimates on the design that I showed. It would be about $80,000 to complete it, as demonstrated. Because the thing is, the labor is cheap and the material costs are cheap as well because they're produced locally. So a lot of the things that you get are bottom prices. I would never be able to do any kind of construction like that in the states for that price. And as far as quality is concerned, it'll probably be at or equal to standard at the Airbnb that I've stayed in, except I would finish it nicer because I think the their style choices aren't that great. And you're not going to pay that much more for the finishes. So I would probably execute a better build, but by comparison, the same sort of property would cost me way more down here. Easily into $1 million for a comparable neighborhood beachfront like that. Easily 1 to 3 million down here. So I think it's still remarkably cheap if that's what you want. Henrique Candidato, hi from Sao Paulo. Oi, como vai? Most people here in Brazil earn less than $250, which is true. So imagine someone who's earning 1,000 US dollars. It's not saying that they're going to be wealthy, but they're going to be above, the mean, as Enrique is saying, and you're really looking at living what I would consider the average American life equivalent. You're able to pay your bills, you're able to eat, you're able to have a little money to go out on a Friday, Saturday night, get some drinks. Um, I don't think it would be enough to really save up for some heavy travel. But if you were prudent enough and you saved, I don't know, $80 or $100 a month, you would be able to take a little vacation to Ecuador or Argentina or another part of Brazil and kind of get away for a bit. Um, but it's just to let you know that $1,000, that basic survival, what I need to retire, is doable. If you're living on Social Security and you're making over $1,000 a month, and you're like, well, that's not going to make it in the U.S., Brazil's a place for you. If you're someone who's like a writer or creative and is just like, I'm tired of feeling broke, and I'm only making, I don't know, 2,000 a month, Brazil would be a good choice for you as well. So I think the fact that you have somebody contacting us directly from Brazil who's there, and telling you that 250 could cut it, that's pretty great. Are you still here, Enrique, or not? If I would love to ask you a few more questions about cost of living just to give some context. Or if anybody else is here joining us from Brazil, I would love to talk about price of food, price of living, that sort of thing. Trey TL11, have you heard about the Brazil citizenship program where if you have a child born in Brazil, you can get citizenship? You telling me to go out there and make babies, man? Is that what you're encouraging, Trey? Um, well, that's good to know. Uh, so if my wife is watching, um, I have a pathway to Brazilian residency. I'm making a baby in Brazil. So um, if I do that, love, it's Trey's fault. Blame it on him or her. Uh, Alistair Benarji. Alistair Benarji. Bener. I don't know what that is. Hey, I was fascinated with your $1 Italy property videos. It was awesome to see that you decided to opt for more expensive but better investment long term. You have inspired me to look into it. Awesome, man. Just check it out. I think it's straightforward. I think those are some of the best deals on the planet right now. Just because Italy has this mystique in the rest of the world. It's one of those romantic places, literally a Roman part of the Roman Empire, the heart of the Roman Empire. So it's got a romantic appeal. It's been well branded in the world because of that, because of their influence. And properties are cheap, and it's surprisingly there are super cheap properties throughout Europe. You go into Sweden, Denmark, cheap properties. Italy, Spain, Greece got some really cheap properties. Georgia, which I don't know if it's considered Europe or Asia. I don't know how far off it is. Cheap properties. Cost of living in Turkey, for instance, low as well. So if you're more into like the European scene, which I would say it's infrastructure wise can be better in a lot of places. Um, and it's kind of like what's the model that a lot of the colonies are based on, right? It's a derivative of the European model. If you want to go to Europe, there's some cheap options there as well. I really like South America, the temperature, the people, the departure from it's like an indigenous African European blend, in most of Latin America, uh, especially when you get closer to the coastlines. All right, so Henrique, a question for you: if you can, let's say life in Sao Paulo, $1,000 a month. How would that money get distributed, and how do you think someone would live on 1,000 a month? And if you're comfortable sharing how much you're earning per month, please do so. Because I would venture to say in Sao Paulo, you could also get an apartment for $300 to $500 a month in a more, uh, I guess, sh- mm, safe part of town, right? Where maybe expats may want to live. Um, and then the meals, you know the price of food. You could get some food pretty cheap, especially if you're eating breakfast and fresh bread at home, bread, cheese, ham, coffee at home, and that's your typical breakfast. And just eating out, in the for lunch or dinner, you could probably get by on a food budget of $10 a day. And then what else? How much is a beer, for instance? If you just went to the store and bought a beer, or if you went to a bar just to have drinks, how much would you spend? If you could give us some texture to what your lifestyle costs are and how somebody would live on $1,000 a month. That's kind of what kind of comment I want. So if you could just spit it out, that would be great. Because I think it'll help rather than me, the outsider, talking about those things. I think someone from that place really saying, yes, this is possible, kind of validates what I'm saying. 27 minutes. I'm almost out of here. Okay. As a new entrepreneur, which is a better move in 2021, starting a home healthcare agency or real estate investing? Nati, I'll tell you this. Starting up a home healthcare agency is a heavy, heavy lift. All right. I don't know why people have this idea that it's easy money. You're essentially running a nursing home in the homes of hundreds of people. So you need systems in place to kind of stay on top of that. It's not this is not this is not an easy game at all. And I think people do make money in home health. There's a demand for it, but there's a lot easier ways to make money. I think real estate investing is a lot easier. I could do that in the background of me working my home healthcare agency. I can't run my home healthcare companies properly in the background of me investing in real estate. So I think I think you need to really know what you're getting into home health wise. A staffing firm, on the other hand, like a nursing agency, is a lot lighter of a lift. It's not as regulated. Remember, those nurses are working in licensed facilities that have to meet, their state regs. If I were going to do anything, I would recommend that. I'm actually putting together another installment of ENTP Life's educational tools for staffing firms. It's lower cost to start. It's a lucrative business, great for passive income. And I'm putting together a full course teaching you how to do that. I've been doing that since 1996 in the family business, and I know a thing or two about that. So I would say that's the easier play rather than the licensed home care agency, especially if you're going to go the Medicare route. Believe me, not easy. Staffing firm is going to be a lot easier. So another thing is what I've done with my program is that people can, if you buy in at the higher end, you'll get access to everything else. So like there's an all access option, and then there'll be like a monthly option for those who don't want to spend the money. But I'm going to keep putting out courses on areas that I know well, that other people can replicate and make money. So that's that answer for you. Either way, you should check it out and see if it's a good fit. The healthy hubby. One thing to consider when buying a house in Brazil is whether it is inside of a closed condominium. Being in a closed condominium is safer than a house outside a condominium. Yeah, I guess, right? I think so. If you want that extra layer of security, um, that's good. I wonder what are the statistics of like home invasions. That is it such an issue that that you don't want to be in a non-gated community? I'm not sure if the threat level is that high, especially if you're in safer pockets. Um, but if people are concerned and they want that extra fortress feel, then go gated. Of course. And thanks for the recommendation, Healthy Hubby. Uh, Chantal Marie, what is it like down there in Brazil with COVID going on? People are living their lives. Brazilians got hip to it quick. Um, I'll tell you something about Brazilians. Brazilians value living life to the fullest, regardless of their economic situation. They're going to find time to laugh. They're going to find time to dance. They're going to find time to drink, time to enjoy the sun, time to enjoy weather, time to enjoy the people that they love. They're livers of life. Okay. Once again, they're part of the Roman expansion and the colonial expansion. So that Western European culture is that live life to the fullest. Make some money, but yeah, whatever. You need to live more than anything. So the Brazilians, once they started lifting the bans, you got nightclubs open in Brazil. You have people. Look at my videos. People hanging out on the beach. That was in October. Fast forward to now, they they've evolved from that point till now, for sure. It's like, all right, COVID's here, COVID's killing people. It's not killing me, or I've already had it. That sort of mentality, and people are they're still conscious of it, but they're um, it's not like some other places that are still in like lockdown fear mode. Um, I think that they're kind of taking it on the chin and trying to move forward. It's had, like everywhere in the world, it's had horrible economic outcomes. Restaurants getting closed down, businesses shutting down. At some point, you have to decide which is worse: the economic impact of running from a virus that has a relatively low kill rate, or trying to be safe and moving forward with the reality that you're a mortal in a world where viruses, predate most living life, or predate, or may even be contributors to evolution, contributors to uh, yeah, life in itself. There's theories that life has originated out of the evolution of viruses. So my rant on that topic is done. Um, okay, what's the price? Perry Jones is asking of. No, I have no idea what you're asking. What is the price of what? Um, so Noriko, hey, this is Noriko, female, LOL. Okay. Followed your Italy videos, Musomeli. How are the renovation projects going, especially with the pandemic? Were you able to advance? Yeah, I'm almost done. I probably a week away from both of the projects being done. There's some minor like decor and furnishing things that I want to do personally, and I want to be present for. But as far as the heavy lift is concerned, my larger property has been done, repainted, um, bathroom added, facade redone. I'm ordering like my final facade fixtures. Then I have to decorate and kind of work on what's there. My little house, the interiors are done. New bathroom, new floors throughout. Made my adjustments there. And Yeah, so we're in reality we're only a week or two away from finishing. They're working at Italian speed. Those are projects I would have gotten done in a few weeks in the states. The pandemic, what is it? It's affecting the supply chain. So moving product from one region to the next, if there's a shutdown in a certain region, no work gets done, and then the holidays, no work gets done. So I would say it's a slower pace than the American pace, but totally doable, totally manageable. It hasn't caused me too much stress. But you have to remember, I've been investing in and flipping real estate for almost 15 years now, since 2006. So those small projects, small money, it's like a non thought, really. So it's just kind of managing it, watching it come along. I'm excited. I have some video coming out soon, but I want to kind of do the proper reveal because it's video from the contractor. I don't know how I'm going to tell that story with that video. I rather would go and tell the story myself. Um, Trey TL, is getting real estate license worth it in your opinion? In my opinion, yes, I guess. I don't have one, but your real estate license is going to allow you to earn commissions and fees for your real estate services in a way that the general public cannot. So if it's a side hustle, great, you get additional income. If it's to when you're brokering your own deals, you lower your commission spend because you're the listing broker or the listing agent. Um, and your commissions, you could waive them or put them towards your closing costs. So there's things like that that could help. If you're looking to learn how to invest, you won't really learn that by getting your license. Your license only tells you the transaction side. The investing principles are completely different. If you're interested in that, make sure you check out my program, Killing the American Dream. That's at www.entplife.com. Check it out. It's only 97 bucks a month. You learn how to invest in 1 to 4 family real estate the way that I do. About 14, 15 hours worth of content, step by step, walking you through a buy and fix and flip and a buy, fix and hold, and why I prefer one versus the other. I would say that's more valuable than the real estate agent uh, course for sure, in my opinion. If you're looking to invest, if you're looking for a job and some side money, hey, it's a low cost career to get into, and then it's just a matter of how hard you work and how well you put together the dots. 40 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna breeze through these next questions and I'm gonna close out. Okay, so what's the price? I think the price for the property that's in Cabo Frio, they're asking was about 500,000 reais. I'm pretty sure I could get them down to four. Um, and the renovation is about 80,000. So talking about 160 to 180, maybe 185 after all fees and overages. What's the price of your program? Oh, for so the price of Killing the American Dream, which you could see the link down below. The monthly rate is 97 bucks a month. Then there's a $2,000 like lifetime option so that you get access to that course and any other course I put out. Like I said, the next course is a staffing firm course. That one's gonna. I'm thinking it's gonna maybe be a 6 hour course, 5 to 6 hours, something around that length. Um, I'm putting together like the the flow of the course now. Um, so I think it'll be something like that. Maybe rounds out to 10. So like I'll charge anywhere from $100 a month to like $500 for that program. I haven't thought about the pricing there yet, but it'll be something like that. Um, and I'm probably going to do like more coaching on that, like for business development, because it's a pretty straightforward business. And then I have a coaching option for those who are using our software, which is called On Time ITS. which is a home healthcare staffing, and social adult daycare practice management solution. So those who are going through the staffing program will be trained on time, using on time, and then for all my on time users, we do a monthly webinar where we kind of talk home healthcare strategy, and we're here to support you to try to ensure that you grow your business, because as you grow your business, we grow our revenue on the software. It's a kind of, the two are kind of tied. So we want you to win so that we win, and our interests are aligned in that regards. With 3 kids, I need at least 1,000. With 3 kids and a partner, is it you, a partner, and 3 kids? So it's 5 people in the home living on 1,000 a month just to get by. Okay. And then Chantel Marie. Okay. I thought maybe because of COVID and all the cases, maybe the economy wasn't doing that well. So I was wondering how that would affect investments. Good to know. Um, I think what it's done for investments is that maybe it's put some people in a position to want to sell so they could cash up. Maybe they lost their job, they lost their business, that extra house that they had in Cabo Frio. It might be better to not pursue redeveloping it, or that land that you were thinking about building your dream house on one day, you might sell it. The exchange rate is better than it's been. Let me see. Last I checked, the AI was trading at around, at the peak, it was like almost $6 to one, man. And that's what really got me moving to try to go down there and take advantage of that. Um, AI to USD. 1 USD. Yeah, so right now it's 5.4 reais to 1 US dollar. So a property selling for 500,000 reais is 92,368. Now, if I try to get it down for 80,000, I'd be paying 433,000 reais. Um, so for someone that may be a lot of money in Brazil, and if they need to liquidate themselves, that's one of the ways. And they don't have so much mortgage liquidity down there, so the market for exchange is a lot different than the United States. And that's really what my concern is. Not so much COVID. I think COVID has helped move the move the value of that money in my favor. Um, and maybe increase urgency to sell and urgency to get work, so everything gets cheaper. Um, so I think as after we come out of COVID, and hopefully that economy improves, maybe we get down to the days of 3 to 1. For a long time it was 3 reais to a dollar. Just off of that, you would get value add. So I think it's an interesting time to buy down there. I have my reasons for wanting to buy down there, aside from the love of the country. I think economically, Brazil is kind of a standalone country. They're massive. They have a workforce. They have natural resources. They have a lot of corruption, unfortunately, and bad political guidance often, and they don't do enough to monetize their working class. Um, I see that they import so many automobiles. A country that large should be producing their own automobiles and branding it well and building it well. If you could build out the Tesla and build that to be what it is in our lifetime, different management, different people, but the Brazilian government should be getting behind, really putting together fascinating projects that employ and improve domestic production. When that starts happening, you have this low cost workforce. Like, Brazil should be manufacturing and positioning themselves to manufacture for the US, um, in a way that China has for the past 30 years of my life. I think that would be the best move for Brazil, really to be the manufacturing hub of the Western Hemisphere, feeding South America, feeding North America. At least they produce a lot of cattle and beef, but they need to do more to get the average person employed. And Brazilians want to work. Um, nobody wants to being a human being without purpose and without contributing to the tribe. It creates problems, um, for the psyche, for the community. So I know if you were to create jobs for Brazilians will work for sure. I think there's potential there. All right, all right, all right. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do more than on every continent because like my goal is to have 12, right? So you want me to get a house in Antarctica? That would be pretty dope. That would be pretty dope. That would be pretty dope. Um, mhm. Antarctica. ENTP life in Antarctica. I'm flying there for sure. That's one of the missions I'm going to do. Um, Not in the Piper Cherokee, but in due time, I'm going to make the trip from Argentina over to Antarctica, land there, take a selfie. I don't know, hang out with some penguins, fly back. Um, Let me see. As far as the seven continents, obviously North America, South America. If you want to consider Central America a continent, so somehow they do in some places. Um, Europe, Asia, Africa. Yeah, I think my right now the places that I'm considering having owning a place are United States, obviously. I have in Italy. I'm looking at something for France, looking at Spain because it's a country that I really like a lot. Um, After that, I've thought about Thailand. I like Thailand. I've thought about Turkey. Greece is high on my list as well. I think Greece, Spain, France, and Brazil all are on the list. They've already secured their spot. I haven't been to any of the African nations. I want to go to Morocco. I want to go to Cape Verde. I want to go to South Africa, Tanzania, some of the inner countries. I like East Africa. I like the mix of the African, Middle Eastern culture in East Africa, how the people come out looking. It's fascinating. That fascinates me. Um, I think Israel's a cool region, whether it's you want to subscribe to it's a country or not. But where Israel is, I like that section. It's a little hot there sometimes, but there I'm considering as far as Asia, I like Thailand. Um, uh, I haven't been to Malaysia. I don't know where else in Asia I would consider. I think India. Um, I love Indian food, so I would like to see what culture is like, what it would be like to live there a little bit. If I was going to choose in like Australia-ish area, um, Islandia, whatever they call it down there, Oceania, um, I would probably lean towards New Zealand versus main Australia. I think no offense to anybody in Australia, I think the New Zealanders might be a little more cool or eccentric, and I would like to hang out with them. So yeah, I have my eyes open, but as I go to, I've been to about 35 or 40 countries so far. So I have my eyes open for where like what feels homey to me. Um, I haven't been to Argentina yet, but I'm going there next year, and that's going to be pretty exciting. It seems like a place I would like to own, just because infrastructure wise, it's solid. I like the vibe of the Argentinian people that I've met. Uh, so Argentina is in consideration. Colombia is in consideration. I'm probably going to rent in Colombia rather than own. The hard thing about owning in South America is that I'm spoiled by the US. I'm spoiled by the ease of securing debt, high rental prices compared to real estate cost. Like I said, I have properties that I paid 120, 150,000. I'm getting, $3,000 a month in rent on houses I paid 110,000, 100,000. I'm getting 15, 16, $1,700 a month. Another property I have listed now, I think it's listed for 2,000 a month. I paid a total of 140, 145. So the numbers here are kind of good. Um, so when I compare what what does $200,000 get me in the states, what sort of income does it yield on a property, and then I compare that to spending 200,000 in South America and what sort of income it gets me there, plus the instability of the local currency. Imagine pre-COVID. Let me try to go back to the AI chart for the past 5 years. Um, so, wow, look at this. Let me go to dollar. Got it. I'm sorry, I'm doing this real time, but this is my last example. Dollar to AI. Okay, so let's go back 1 year. So January 28th, 2020, 1 year ago, the AI was trading at four AIs, 4.2 to $1. Okay. And now it's at 550 or 540 to $1. So they've had like a 33% devaluation in their currency. So why would I want to earn in that local currency that's going to devalue against my dollar? For now the dollar is still king, but why am I going to want that to happen? I'd rather be in the pound or something. The pound has gotten crushed too, but I'd rather be in these higher value currencies that are less susceptible to fluctuation than be in a South American currency like the Argentinian peso or whatever their currency is that's like worthless today. Back in March of 2017, 3 to 1 AI to dollar. So somebody who bought a property in 2017 for 500,000 reais spent about the equivalent of 150K on that property. If they were to turn around and sell that for 500,000, they're going to get 92,000 for it. Why would I want to tie up a lot of money in a country where the currency is that shaky? I'd rather, have my money tied up in the United States. So that's the dilemma when I'm thinking about these international properties. And then, they're not dollarized. They're not tied to the dollar per se. So you can't expect to inflate the rate of rent on people to immediately match that inflationary change because they're still working on AIs. They're adjusting. Food is getting more expensive in Brazil. Things are getting more expensive, but they can't adjust 33% like that and not expect people to go crazy. So those are the sort of issues with investing in South America. And that's it. Boa noite from Sao Paulo. Boa noite también. Também. Sorry. I'm learning Spanish now, so now my words are slightly bending. So I need to work on that. I need to actually spend some time in Brazil to submerge myself and get some more clarity. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, boa noche, guys. And I'll see you in the next one. I hope that this has been helpful for you. As far as your question, Raheem, no, I don't have residency in Brazil. I'll just be going there on visa. Um, yeah, Thailand. The world outside of the United States, there are some hardships. You're going to see greater disparities in wealth than you typically see here. Little disorganized in most countries. I mean, you drive around on an Italian, not on an Italian road, but a Thai road. Oh my God, it's just chaos. There's almost there's almost no traffic laws. It's just like a beehive of people on the streets. Wild stuff. But the United States is more organized, more formal, ease of getting products. I mean, You don't have to really wait too long on your auto parts. You're in Argentina, you might be waiting on a car starter for 2 months to get shipped to you, and then you have no car for 2 months. In Venezuela, forget it. Um, so you have those sort of things where like getting goods is difficult. As far as like the convenience of Amazon Prime, order your order your cell phone holder today, get it tomorrow by 12. Those sort of things. Yeah, you could kiss that goodbye. Um, but as far as medical programs, being able to get services, getting medication, if you're earning in US dollars and though that income is steady, two, three, four. I I say this: $5,000 in passive income every month gets you retired in the world, anywhere. Um, maybe you know, not in London. Yes, you can. In New York City, you can. In Tokyo, you can. Not in the premium neighborhoods, but in middle of the road neighborhoods, $5,000 a month, you'll get by. You'll be able to pay your rent, eat food, live a life, have money for travel. And then in the rest of the world, like that other 65 to 75%, where I think, 1,500, $1,000 cuts it, $5,000 a month, you're living pretty good. You're living on $5,000 a month in Colombia. Uh, like my budget for Colombia is 2 to 2,500, right? This is my last spiel and like advocacy for global arbitrage and living internationally. Right now, my rent in Florida is about 2,000 a month. You add my internet, electricity, whatever that gives me, get me to like 25, 26, right? Um, on that same rent spend, I could get a 3 to 4 bedroom house in a gated complex, right? If I want to keep the poor people out, I'm just messing with you. But in a gated complex, um, I could get a 4 bedroom apartment that's going to cost me, generously speaking, $600, but you could get it for 450. So that's in a nicer neighborhood, Poblado, Envigado, something like that in Medellin. So let's call it 600. I could get a live-in nanny that will housekeep, clean, do my groceries, watch the kids, $600 a month. And that's because, I want those extras. If it was just live-in nanny, not housekeeping, or just a housekeeper, whatever, that could be like 450. But you add on, you pay them good, 600. So live-in nanny who does all the housekeeping and the child care, and a home is already $1,200. Okay, so then you have $1,200 of discretionary spending in a country where your cell phone might run you $20 a month. Your other household expenses may be $100 a month. Your insurance for a family plan, high end, is like $100 a month. For the highest end plan where the doctor comes to you, $100 a month. You can get plans down at like the $30, $40 price. So compared to my family plan, that's nearly $2,000 a month for my health coverage. Yeah, $100, I'll gladly pay it. 200, even whatever, right? So let's add that up. So 600 for the home, 600 for the support and childcare, which cost me another like 2,500 or so a month for childcare right now, or 2,000 something. I don't know. Um, my home utilities $100. That takes us to 1,300. My health plan for the family, let's call it 200. That's 1,500. I still have 1,000 of discretionary spending. Now, how much does food cost? You're going to see this in one of my upcoming videos. I went to the supermarket to show what are the food costs in Medellin, Colombia. A dozen of organic brown eggs in the supermarket in the United States is costing me right now $7 freaking for a dozen. I could get a pack of 30 for like $3 or $4 in Colombia. It's like, just for eggs. Milk, cheap. Produce, cheap, especially the local stuff. So let's call it The house like market budget for the month, we'll take that. We'll call it another $400, which is generous. $400 for the family doesn't need to be. It'd probably be like two, but $400 just to overstate. Now we're looking at where was I last at? 1,500 plus 400, 1,900. I still have $600 a month in discretionary spending to go out for dinner. I don't have to worry about childcare and babysitters because they're with me. Um, a fairly nice dinner, 3-course meal with drinks, dinner for two. You're talking about mm, $75 for the two, including tip. When I if I were to do the same thing, equivalent restaurant here would cost me 200. So that so I would have still, you know, about after I said all the childcare, food, expenses, whatever, I'd have $600 or so of discretionary spending for entertainment outside of survival, and I would still be able to go out every weekend and probably save a little money for travel on this on just my apartment spend here in the states. To put that into perspective, the same lifestyle here, my monthly carrying cost is about ten to $12,000 a month between childcare, bills, automobile, insurance, all this crap. I cut that down by a factor of five by just going 3 hours away. So, when I constantly advocate for that, and I constantly advocate for people thinking in that way so that they can really say, well, what am I working for and what am I working towards? When you say, man, I'm going to retire young, people automatically have this like 7-figure number in their mind. Like, in order for me to pull it off to survive for the next 40 years, I need $4 million because I want to have a spend of $100,000 a year. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. Fine. And you should push for that. But if you were to say, hey, I just need to get to 5,000 a month, what can I do to get to 5,000 a month? Man, that might be 8 rental properties or I don't know, 6 Airbnb apartments that cost me $80,000 to set up, or um, I don't know, a few tow trucks or something. Whatever it's going to be, a few taxis that you re-rent. I don't know, whatever your hustle is going to be. Um, YouTube revenue. If you're a world traveling YouTuber that has enough of a subscriber base that you're generating 5,000 a month in ad revenue, that's all you need to do. And to get to 5,000, if you start thinking, how do I make $5,000 a month passively? I guarantee you, in if you focus on that in less than 3 years, you'll have $5,000 a month passively. So if you're looking to retire young, looking to live a global lifestyle, just curious, just want to break free from your job and live in the States, you know, continue to follow me here on ENTP Life, and I'll continue to try to give you the game. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Hope you guys do well. If I miss anything, half an hour turned into an hour. It's just a problem that I have with talking. But anyway, if you miss anything, shoot me a question. If you watch any of my other videos and you're kind of confused, I try to answer every single comment. So, while the channel is still nice and young and I'm able to do that, please, if there's a question, don't hesitate, reach out. And if there's any way that I can help you, aside from direct mentoring, because I don't have the time to do that, just shoot me an email, shoot me a message, and I'll see what I can do. Take care, guys, and have a good night. Bye.